Good evening and welcome back to the Mancunian way. Hope you're all well. You're all laughing already. What's going on?
We thought this was a transfer thread, but it might become a gossip thread.
No, it's transfer thread and we're staying at transfer thread.
Yeah, we're not gossiping. We're not gossiping.
We're not doing gossip.
No.
Someone's already caused enough shit this evening.
Cal.
Yeah, you sit down in your chair.
I saved the gossip for Mo's channel.
Absolutely love Carl Walker, even if he's unreliable. Anyway, good evening to all. Hope you're all right. Sports Talk, get in touch with me. As you can see, we're packed. Come on Friday. Because we weren't. You just ended a phone call. It's all right. No. Good evening, Ozzy, Tone, Rich, LB, and Kelster. How are we all?
Good. Ryan, and everybody else.
Fantastic, mate.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
My day off. I'm very excited.
Everyone in the chat. I'm going to get some hellos. Ryan, hello. Dash, hello. Danny, hello. Cade. Hope Pep stays. Why would Pep not stay? He is staying. Right. Okay. I'm going to say this out the chute. Yes, there are rumours out there. We are not going to talk about them. There are January. This is a January show, and we are going to stick to a January show. Yes, that is it. We are not going to talk rumour and innuendo. It really is innuendo at the moment. But we are not going to talk about it. We are going to move on and just let things happen. Yeah. Hello, Lee Gates. How are you? There you go. I did put it in the chat. We're not tight. It's private lives. End of. And I will say it was not LB's fault. It was people on LB's chat.
Bro, I didn't even know what the comment was, man, until I started reading it out, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I
LB's
mean?
not started this rumor, by the way.
You can't read the whole comment out before you start reading them. So I just put it on the screen and read it. I was like, what the hell?
It's an amateur mistake, LB. You should know
I personally
better.
don't think we should be talking about it because at the end of that's personal matters, isn't it?
Exactly. And we're
I
not
don't
going
think
to.
that you should speak about personal matters, but it was too late for me.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly.
You better tell everyone on Blue Moon Forum. At least it might get you some new subs.
Might end up in court.
Yeah.
The libel laws like there in the UK.
LB's ended up on defamation of character. Well, that's none of us getting a job at the City anytime soon, everyone.
The six of us are
right.
cooks,
Anyway, yeah, January. We've been here because there's been loads. I must say, today has been like wildfire on rumours. From Tolme to everyone else, bit of Newcastle stuff, bit of everything. Kimmich is back on the table. Theo Hernandez is back on the table. It's like it's been like FIFA today. It's been like proper FIFA. So, Matt,
Dog's back on the table.
Pardon?
They're not available.
They're
They're not
Becomes the
available
dog.
for transfer. They're not available for transfer. Loan,
not going to
maybe.
LB.
Loan, maybe.
So yeah, just going to do these very quick ones and we'll get rolling. Saint Silver, thank you for you for a 7th month, mate. You are a legend. Bella has gifted a membership as well to a very lucky person on the show. I have spoke to Jessica. We're going to try and get Jessica on Friday if she's available with Sports Talk because there's not going to be a Thursday night chat. We're moving it to Friday because I'm on a Christmas event tomorrow. People, so there will be a Friday show instead. And then Chroma Base has renewed for an 8th month. Thank you so much for your kind generosity.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
Yeah, so January. So apparently the rumor is today we're going to sign 3 to 4 players, was what Tommy said, and others have said it. I'm going to start with you, Ozzy, and we'll go around. People just jump in, 3 or 4 players. Do you see 3 or 4 players, £200 million to spend? What are you thinking?
I think the only thing, from what I'm aware of, though, is that we'd only be able to register 3, like for the likes of the Champions League. So 4 may be a bit of a stretch. I'm not sure how that will work. But I think if we can get 3 players in, then yeah, I think City do need to do it. Obviously, there's been a lot of, as you said, Mike, there's been a lot of chat today with various rumours flying around, like Kimmich and stuff like that. And as much as I think as Kimmich is a great player and he's been a brilliant player for Bayern Munich, for me, he's the age profile's all wrong. Like, City need to be going for young players. We've got Asian players. We don't need to be bringing in Dad's Army right now. As much as he's a great player, for me, we just stick a plaster, that type of player coming in for 6 months to a year, and then we're just, in the same position next January, summer. So, no, for me, we need to be signing players kind of 25, 26. Bruno at a push with him being a bit older. But we need to sign players that are going to come in and revitalise this, especially midfield. And for me, the 3 areas I've been looking at is 2 centre midfielders and a defensive player as well. I think we've got quite a bit up front firepower wise. That we should have enough to kind of hopefully create for the likes of Haaland. So that's where I've been looking at in January. Those 3 main kind of options. It just, I think if they can get a 4th in somehow and are able to register, I don't know how that would work, but definitely 3 would be ideal right now, because I just think we are so short, especially in the midfield. We've got an Asian squad, especially in the midfield. We've got the likes of Walker, who is sadly, I think we all have to admit it, he's done. And I think he needs to go for his own legacy, really, his own kind of, I don't blame him. He's been a fantastic servant. And I think anybody who has been criticising him and kind of been throwing such slanderous and such hateful messages towards him, I think, give your head a wobble. Remember what he's done for this club. What he's produced. It's not his fault that his legs are gone. Especially as reports have come out recently that he's been carrying an injury as well on top of that. And his personal life is his personal life. We've all got our own personal lives and things going on. So, it's about what he does on the pitch for me. And what he's done on the pitch has been brilliant. But you've got to look at that right back position. I've been thinking about looking at a right back, but maybe someone who can play centre back / right back. You know, we've had that over the last couple of seasons. It's worked out well with like Kanji coming in. So I'd be looking for a versatile centre back / right back. You know, like Guimarães, someone who can do a job at the back and then cover us when we need them to. Because at the moment, we've only got, you know, Guardiola, Kanji maybe coming back, and Diaz. And I'm being realistic. I think we've also got to be honest about the players that probably need to go between January and the summer. Because for me, I think there's probably only 10 players, really and truly, that I think we can build the next team around. I can't, for me, you maybe keep some of them, the likes of Kovacic maybe, but others, Grealish, Nunes, you know, I think, and Bernardo, I think you've got to be honest and go, their time has come up. The time it has to go. You know, we can't live on the sentimentality anymore. We've got to be ruthless. You know, the club have made mistakes in the transfer market. They've not been ruthless enough and have gone out there and got the players we need going forward to build this club. You know, we've had fantastic seasons over the last 6, 7 seasons of what we've won. But the board, Cheeky, you know, Caldoon, Soriano have badly let things slip. You know, and they've got to take the responsibility. And I'm sorry, but when it comes to January, you're going to get slaughtered. You're going to be paying over the odds. But when you've been put into this position, you've got to spend the money.
Oh, so Aussies for spending money.
We've got to that point now, Martin, where I don't think you can't. And I don't think that you can spend. For me, you can't just bring in squad players. I think you've got to bring in quality players. With over the last few seasons, we've brought in squad players like Nunes, who just haven't been good enough. And I think we need to go back a little bit and have players who can challenge senior players, who can say, I'm going to take your shirt when I'm on the bench because I want to get off the bench and I want to be out on the starting 11. Those are the ruthless players I want at my club right now. I want competition for places. I don't think we can have the likes of Grealish, who have basically, you know, thought they've gone from Villa, gone to City, and they've made it big, and they haven't put the effort in enough. I want someone to come in and make a proper, like, I'm going to change the likes of Rodri, I'm going to change the likes of Foden, Haaland. That's what I want going forward. And I'm not saying you're going to get that all done in January, but I think it's a start, and I think we've got to start in January. We've got to start rebuilding this squad.
Anyone want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I agree with what he said. I think there'll be 1 or 2 come in as it stands now, and then maybe more if people go. McAtee, Walker, perhaps. The club have the money now. They need to spend some money, or the club have had the money for a while, and they need to go out and spend it. But they need to spend it on players that are ready to go. There's no point buying a player in January if they're not ready to go, which some of the names that are thrown out, like, and I've thrown the name out in part as well, like Ricky or Richie or however you pronounce it. From what I'm told from people who watch him, he's not ready. So there's no point buying him in Jan. You have to have players that are coming in, a Zubi, a Bruno G, those players who have the experience and are ready to go from the, well, I say the 1st of Jan, but you know what I mean. That are ready to go as soon as they sign. There's no point bringing someone in. You may as well wait to the summer to do that and play them in the Club World Cup or pre-season or what have you. So, yeah, they will certainly buy. I'm a little bit worried about some of the hype. Worried is probably the wrong word, but you know, the 4 transfers that the Daily Mail mentioned, and somebody was saying 5 and 6 was mentioned in another one. I don't see that amount of players in Jan unless other players go. I think people need to be realistic. There's no harm in saying, I want X, Y, and Z, and I want to spend 300 million. There's no problem with that. But there's two ways of looking at it. You can look at it in that zone, or you can look at it realistically. Try to look more realistically. I think it'd be 1 or 2 in Jan, and then probably 4, 5, 6 or what have you in the summer. So it depends, like I say, how people look at that sort of thing really with the window. But I would just say to people who are thinking 4, 5, 6, and I might be wrong, they may well go and get them. They may be cool down a little bit if that's what you're pinning all your hopes on, because I just don't see that amount. I don't know about the rest of you.
I think as well, Tone, I think these deals need to be done now. You know, the likes of, say, Bruno. City should know by now what they're going to have to spend to get Bruno out of Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? That deal should be already getting on its way, because as far as I'm concerned, we can't wait until the end of January to sign a load of players. They have to come in 1st, 2nd, 3rd of January, because we're still in competitions. And if we will remain in these competitions, you know, the likes of Champions League, because we've got PSG next, and if that's a game we don't win, we're pretty much out. Do you know what I mean? So the deals need to be doing now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? These deals need to be processed now. You know, we should know who we're going for. No messing about.
Yeah, it's difficult though, isn't it? Because you're taking one of, if not Newcastle's best player. Now, they say, or Eddie Howe said, and their media bods have all said, oh, well, we need the money, so we need to sell, which obviously then everyone goes into, wow, we're buying Bruno G, which is hopefully true. But he is still one of their best players, and it is still a very difficult transfer to get over the line in Jan, because Newcastle's season isn't over. You know, I know they've not done great, but look at the state of the league table right now. Top 4 is up for grabs for pretty much bloody anybody in that top 12. It's absolutely crazy at the moment. So their season's not over, and them losing Bruno G and Jan will hurt them no matter who they go out and buy. So I agree, it's good. I hope we sign them on the 1st of Jan at midnight. But realistically, again, it's going to be a tough one to get over the line.
Well, look, just on that, I was watching Craig Hope's personal YouTube channel last night, and he's done a show, and he was asked that question. Newcastle, he thinks City Bruno will be sold in the summer, not Jan. Because now Newcastle, because you got to remember what was said. What was said was, if Newcastle wanted to buy, if Newcastle don't buy anyone in Jan, they don't need to sell anyone in Jan. They've got till the 30th of June to sort out their PSR. So I wouldn't pin all hopes on Bruno. It's very weird, because this Bruno stuff is doing exactly what it did in the summer. Started at the Newcastle end, it's come back to the City end, and the Newcastle end have now started to change the story as they're going along. So I don't know if we're being used here in the game. I don't know anymore. This is yo-yoing like it was in the summer.
Yeah.
Not just from yesterday to today, it's yo-yoed. And it was Craig Hope who originally broke the story about Bruno. And now he swaps it back round again. So I don't know what the hell's going on with Bruno anymore. The news that was always said is City were going to have to spend 80, 90 million to get Bruno out the door.
Yeah, Martin, Newcastle always going to. I mean, it's a business thing. You know, the truth is, there's not a player in the world who isn't for sale at the right price at any point of transfer windows open. And Newcastle, if Newcastle start to sound desperate in the press, like we have to sell, they're going to have to counter that with a story on the opposite, because they're sitting down across the table with City. Newcastle want 100 million. City probably want to pay 60. And if the stories are all Newcastle are desperate and that becomes the truth, then it's going to help City. If the stories are we really don't want to sell, we're only going to sell if it's a last resort, then it's going to go the other way. So, you know, in any deal, you're going to have the stories go back and forth. I mean, my view is that we can only sign up to 3, because I don't see what players are going to want to join us and be told they're not in the Champions League squad, unless they really are a young player for the future or stepping up. Anyone who wants to come is going to want to be in the Champions League squad, and I think you can register 3 new signings. So for me, that's a cap. 4, 5, 6 you're getting. No, I'm talking about playing in. I'm talking about if we qualify, but if we get that, you know, we get the 3 or 4 points that we need, most likely, then they're not going to want to be sat at home when the rest of the squad's going out to playing Champions League games. So, I think, and I think there's also integrating players. I think, though we desperately need them, I don't think we want to be trying to integrate 5-6 players because there's no pre-season. It is literally game to game, 3 or 4 days between games. So I think 4, 5, 6 is silly talk. I think 2 or 3, I think we will sign. I think we know we need to, and I think we probably will sign at least 2 players, but 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 is, I think unrealistic. And let's be honest, our record of signing in January is next to nothing. So, we're going to have to behave very, very differently to even sign 1 or 2 in January than we've behaved in the past.
Well, the news was, Rich, sorry, just give me the actual news, what's come out today. Tommy put out a tweet early this morning saying City want 2 midfielders and will try and convince Martin Zubi to leave Spain. So triggering his release clause. Then it came out saying that Everton's Gerard Branthwaite has a big admirer in Chica. And then there was also his last post on Bruno was December yesterday. City are poised to make an official approach for Newcastle midfielder Bruno Guimarães. If there is any delay, Pep and the club will move on quickly. City are willing to offer players in exchange. City want 3 new faces in Jan, which I think covers
and 3 makes
so hard in January.
3 makes sense because you can register them. And
LB's internet has died. Just to let everyone know, he's not dropped. He's died on the internet. You've got to show us
what we need is, quite clearly, we need experienced, quality midfielder who can come in and even Zubi a bit of a risk to get up to speed. I mean, I think
I have issues with this, Rich,
far less risky.
Yeah, can I just say someone? Oh, sorry, Martin.
No, go on, mate.
Someone just said in the comment there about showing, pushing ourselves to go and get Bruno G. I can't remember the word they used. And they're quite right. If you want Bruno G, Pep wants Bruno G, whoever wants Bruno G, go and bloody get him. Don't piss about. If it costs 80, 90, 100 mil, if you want him, go and get him. You got the money
That's
now.
what Ozzy was saying, Tom.
Yeah.
We can't go in and do this 40 million and then sit negotiating for 2 weeks.
We're right now.
And the biggest
price, and then you just pay it.
Yeah.
Simple as.
The biggest myth in football is that you really have a true market value for a player. The market value player is the buying club's need. And the truth is, if Bruno G is the difference between 5th and 4th, he could be worth 250 million to see. So 100 million is an absolute bargain if it's the difference between 5th and 4th. If it's the difference between 16th and 15th, he might be worth 40 million to another club. So we just got to think what is the realistic position we're in, and if the realistic position is that he could be the difference between a Champions League place and not, then 80, 90 million is not a problem. We've got, like, everyone's worrying about PSR and stuff. Chelsea are scraping through PSR, having spent 1.3 billion on a far worse P&L than us. We've just made £70 million profit without any of the exclusions we could take. I mean, it's there's no club in European football with more firepower spending wise available to them at the moment. But what do we need? Well, we need that midfielder. We need a defender. Whether it's a left back, a right back, or a centre back, I'm not too worried in a sense, because it's the number, it's the body we need, the fit player, and we can put a Kanji out to right back. I'm quite happy with that. Guardiola and Ake can be left back, but we need a player, and then I think we need a backup striker, and I think we all know who that is. The man who took Newcastle from bottom to 7th in 6 months. the man who's got Forest competing for the league. Battering the United side that we can't beat. So I think we need to.
I want to ask
give him a good retirement plan.
I want to ask LB a question before his internet dies again.
Yeah, so my internet's been playing up all night, man.
You've got to show him 30 minutes.
You need Starlink, is what you need.
Right, Zubi, because you mentioned this a couple of times. Yeah. There's always been the link there, but there's always been that. Oh, he's not sure with the Rodri stuff.
Mm.
And I do understand what you said. Is it a case of he's got to have a set of balls for his own ability now and go, I'm going to compete with Rodri? Because what I don't want to do is trigger his release clause and then he ums and ahs and he does Liverpool. Because this guy seems to flip-flop a lot.
Yeah.
And that bugs me a little bit because I'm like, that's the one thing City will not do is put the bid in. And he goes, yeah, I'll come. And then as he's flying over, goes, nah, I don't fancy it.
Yeah, you'd have to get it wrapped
stupid.
up quickly, wouldn't you? You'd have to get it wrapped up.
Yes.
Really quick. Yeah.
We need to send Agent Gomez in there to start talking to him. The word was Rodri was going to butter him up. I'm like, Sergio Gomez is right there. He should.
Sergio Gomez
he should put some work in for us.
He won't do anything. The problem with Zubi is because he's back up to Rodri at Spain. He doesn't want to be back setup.
As an eight. They could play together.
He needs to believe in himself bloody more then. If we're buying a player that thinks, oh, I'm going to sit on the bench, sod off, don't want players like it was mentioned earlier. We want players
having a Declan Rice
to play. Yeah. Don't want
we
players.
We need players that are mentally going to come in and go, I'm going to challenge. I don't care whose spot I'm challenging for. I'm going to challenge for that spot. If Zubi wants to come in and prove himself and say, actually, Rodri's going to be out for a good few months, even into next season, you know, the way things are going. I mean, I know he's doing well, but let's be honest, you know, things can happen. But right now, he's still not coming back until next season. And even when he comes back, there's no guarantee he's going to be the same Rodri. So for me, Zubi going to go,
already running.
I want to come into this team because I want to challenge and I want that position. If he doesn't want that position, if he doesn't want to challenge, go away. Go Liverpool or stay where you are. I couldn't care less.
This is why Bruno is the perfect guy, because Bruno is more of an 8. Like he
so Ozzy, was Nicholas Bentner your favourite player of all time?
Very funny, Rich. Very funny.
Well, he believed he could challenge Messi and Ronaldo for their place in the team.
He could be our backup striker next, Rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Friday, because as you've seen, Sports Talk, Jessica, Dash, I'll get you one on Friday. I know you couldn't, but we're going to do another show on Friday. So, can I just ask quick? There's also been talk today of is everyone, before I move on, is everyone okay with just one midfielder, or do you think they want two?
I want two, but I think it's going to be too difficult. I would put all of our eggs in the Bruno basket.
Just to let you know, you got 4 weeks here. 4 weeks.
I'd get two. I'd buy one and I'd get Douglas Luiz on loan.
Oh, you and your Douglas Luiz.
If we got
realistically
Bruno and Luiz, oh my God, our midfield.
Realistically, if you get two, though, if you get two, you're going to have to sacrifice either a backup striker or a defender. So that's the thing. I mean, if you get two midfielders, great. I mean, the most important, in many ways, with the Pep side, the most important thing is getting the 3 healthy, high-quality bodies in, because if we can't get the defender we want, then 2 midfielders. If we can't get a backup 9, 2 midfielders, fine. But if you get 2 midfielders and we think we can only register 3, then you're saying, well, we won't get a 9 or we won't get a right back. And I think a 9's far more important than people think, because Haaland needs rest. You see Haaland when he's like really, really fresh and what he brings to the side versus when he's played 4 games in a week. I think it makes a huge difference to him, you know, with the size and his type of player.
Yeah. I'm with Rich. I agree. I would rather a midfielder and a striker, or a midfielder and a defender, than 2 midfielders if you were just getting the 2. Obviously, if it's more than that, then it opens up. But yeah,
I think the problem you've got though, Tone, is that our midfield is just non-existent. Like,
it's
I'm sorry,
worse than an MLS midfield. It's
the Gundo, Bernardo, you know, even KDB are just not good enough right now. That's why we need more legs in that midfield. We need 2 bodies.
Yeah, but if you get 2
all
bodies,
of our problems right now.
Then you're going to have to play the players we're playing at fullback, or if Haaland gets injured, you play the season without a forward. I mean,
but Bob's going to be back.
There's no perfect solution. There's no perfect.
That's too
solution,
much pressure to put on Bob, though.
Well, that was the plan. That was the plan.
And as LB said, we've got Bob coming back in. We have got a frontline talent of Foden, you know, Doku, Savio, We have got the forward line. They just need to do better.
But what about the back line? But what about the
Well, you
back
could
line?
say the same for the midfield. We've got midfield talent. They just need to do better.
No,
I mean,
Rich,
the fact is they're older.
They're done, Rich. The midfield is done. But that's it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, but
some of them are.
Gundo are done.
You've
Some
got
of
to
them are.
accept it, Rich. They're done. Gundo, KDB, Bernardo Silva are done.
And what about
Kovacic.
I think I'll disagree with you on that. I don't think Bernardo's done. I think Bernardo's
He's
overplayed,
done,
but I think he's not done. I
Done for a
think
long
Bernardo.
time. Bernardo
Done for
wasn't good
such a
last
long
season
time.
either.
Yeah, but what about Kovacic? He's just come back.
Kovacic is a
But
good player.
Kovacic is a player.
Yeah,
He's a good
Foden's
player,
not
but
done.
he's a squad player.
He's a squad player. He should have been a
He's
squad
not
player.
a start. He's not
He'd
in
be
that
better as
starting
an 8
position.
if we had a 6.
Yeah, but if we're saying KDB's done, he just got man of the match in a couple of matches. I know he didn't play well at the weekend, but
It never
I
goes.
don't
Yeah,
say
but
he's
he's
finished.
managing himself. You've got to be honest right now, Tone. As much as the player, we love him and we love him to keep going forever. We've got to be honest. He's done. You know, he's never going to be the player he once was.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
and my
still
betting
the
is
best
my betting is that if Rodri hadn't got injured and Rodri was playing and keeping that midfield organised, you wouldn't be saying all these players have done because they wouldn't be exposed. They wouldn't be exposed with a massive chasm behind them, and
I would.
that's the truth.
I
That's
would
the
because
truth.
they're all over 30, mate. And that's
Well,
it.
you didn't
That's
say it
a
all
simple-
last season. You didn't say it all last season. Did they suddenly
We've all
become
been saying
done
for how
in
long
2
that we need a
minutes?
backup for Rodri.
We've been saying we need a backup for Rodri, not that our entire midfield's done.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That done midfield won a
Well, to
quad.
be fair, no one was
Yeah.
saying replace whole midfield. He said it had to happen. No one was saying 4 midfielders last summer.
Yeah, no.
Well, we thought Foden was going to play
No,
better
but we were
this
saying
season.
we
He's
needed to
been
bring
terrible.
in midfielders. We needed to bring it in last summer, but we didn't.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think they,
where
you know,
we can't rely on the midfield players. We just can't. They're not.
But
fitting.
but
They're not
Ozzy,
gonna- they're
Ozzy,
not gonna-
you can't build a house without a foundation. We can't rely on a midfield without a 6 or someone able to anchor the midfield.
And that's why you.
That doesn't mean tomorrow if we sign a top if Rodri was back in prime form tomorrow, I don't think we'd be seeing all those midfield. No, I don't think we'd be saying they're done. You can't write off 6 players because one.
I can because
you write off 6 players because one doesn't play.
I
We
think
have
they're
a
not
lot
6
of
players.
evidence at this point. Like Bernardo's been playing
No.
every game.
What
There's
evidence
a
do
lot
you
of
have
evidence.
that-
He doesn't have anything in the
No.
tank right now.
Kels, what evidence do you have that our midfielders are all done with Rodri playing or a top 6 or playing in that
Because it's not
organising that
enough.
defence?
It's not enough, Rich. Just to
It
rely
was
on
enough to
one
win the
player.
league last year.
That
It
was
was enough
last
to
year.
win the
This
league.
is this year.
There you go,
We
Elman.
barely won that league, and it was because we had 2 players
just
carrying us
expect
last season.
One player to come in and make.
We literally had
Foden
Rodri
was
and Foden
Foden
carrying us
was one
last
of them.
season.
Foden was one of them, and you've just written off. You've all just written it off.
I haven't written off
Yeah,
Foden.
Was he sick? You know,
I
we won
I've
it
written
with
off Gundo,
Foden, Bernardo, and Rodri.
Bernardo.
Foden, Bernardo, and
Grealish,
Rodri won
and
us the
Rodri.
league.
No, I haven't written off Rodri.
We
Don't
had
put
the
words in my mouth.
transition issues last season too with Rodri.
Bloody hell, I
Not-
wouldn't want you lot in the boardroom together. We're World War III. Good afternoon, Pat. Welcome back from your jolly up.
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Well, I'm all right. How are you? Seeing as you
Yeah.
just stayed around Europe.
Yeah, jet lag's got me a bit at the moment, you know, up at 3 a.m. eating cup noodles and I don't know.
Yes,
I'm awake, but I'm not awake right now. So yeah. I should put that on my
Wake you up.
tombstone.
Good to see you, Pat.
Man, I'm gonna
You
throw
too,
another
Joel.
one out.
Thank you.
Another one's been
Hey.
leaked today.
Your pictures looked amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, don't shoot me at this. Because I know LB's ready. He's got the gun in hand and he's ready to go up, Matt. I know he is. I can see it in his eyes.
Go on. Who
I
is
think
it?
my cat cannot make her mind up right now.
No, I'm going to say it because, you know, I've got the poster on the wall. I love him. Hologram. Joshua Kimmich with Kyle Walker.
Yes,
Oh, flipping
Yeah.
heck.
I'd do it right
Say
now.
no to that.
I'll do it.
Well, I just want to know if someone would say
Right,
no.
is there
Because I
anyone
know
who would say
DC's
no to
loving it.
that?
Ouch.
do it.
Yeah, I
He's
would.
not.
What?
It's not a
Okay,
bad
then-
shout
No,
because I think
Arsenal
one thing
just
Kyle Walker
equalised.
needs right now is to get the hell out of the UK for a while.
I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Yeah,
Kimmich
he really
gives
does,
you two.
yeah.
Kimmich gives you 2 positions. So if everyone's
Sorry.
fit,
No, you're only using him as a
You know.
right back. Rich bollocks. He plays right back for Bayern now.
How much is his
Yeah,
wages?
but we could play him elsewhere. 350.
How much
Paid
of
on
him?
Kyle's wages.
Behave. Like, seriously.
Shall
You
we?
lot are absolutely...
So who'd you get as a right back, Ozzy?
Me? Seriously, who... I
You're
said
not getting
earlier on,
Frimpong in Jam.
No, I'm not. That's not the name. I said we need to bring in somebody who can play as a centre-back and a right-back, or centre-back and a left-back. That's, for me, what we need right now. Someone who's that versatile, who can come in. Honestly, people may be shocked at this, but this is a name that I would think about. Gahey from Crystal Palace.
I like Gahey.
He was our best defender at the Euros. He's a decent player. Newcastle were looking at him last summer, but they couldn't get that deal over the line. You go to them now because Crystal Palace are not in the best position. They're not going to be able to ask what they asked Newcastle for. I think he's a top player. Liverpool are currently looking at him. Seriously, I think City should get in there now for him.
And it's English quota.
Exactly.
Throw it around throw it around the panel as well too. Who would we prefer, Braithwaite or Branthwaite or Gay?
Braithwaite just isn't as good as
Braithwaite has injury
He's
issues.
not a bad
We haven't
player,
looked at those.
but yeah, he's also got injury issues right now. So honestly,
I like Gray.
I think the big thing we need to ask each other is any signings that you're thinking of, you've got to think that the main thing, and with the current squad, is how versatile are these players, or how versatile do you think Pep can make these players? Because again, we've said before, with the whole Zubimendi thing, he said, like, yes, he'd be great to have in there. And LB, I agree with you. Like some of the things you talked about, Zubimendi were good. He does look like a great sort of, not backup for Rodri, but I mean, like you certainly feel like he could play a role as well too. But he is an out-and-out six. He's just a one-trick pony. Now, maybe Pep might be able to turn him into a bit more of an advanced midfielder, similar to like what Rodri is, because Rodri plays a lot more forward than he did in these last 2 or 3 years than he did in his first 2 or 3 years. So
He could go box to box.
yeah, you're right. Zubimendi has to grow up here and make a decision, I think, because to me the problem with him is like it screams a sort of player. One of those sort of players that you get in Europe where they're all about the boyhood club. They've got to stay at their boyhood club. And then when they realize they don't start winning trophies there, or they have a slight falling out with either the backroom staff or the manager, next thing you know, they go to one of the big 3 or 4 clubs in Spain. So if we don't get if we don't get Zubimendi in January, I just think he'll stay at Sociedad for another 2 or 3, maybe another season or 2, and then he'll probably end up going on the cheap to bloody Barcelona or Atletico or something like that.
Do you know why I disagree on the Gay? I think Gay's more a summer thing. You know why I'm saying Kimmich?
Yeah, summer.
Because it's a way of getting Walker out. Because nobody's going to come and buy Walker in Jam. No one's going to do it.
No,
but
also, but you're not getting a defender
January,
unless Walker goes.
January's the last chance.
I'm not saying keep
where? Who's buying him?
Why aren't we being urgent on the defender? Because of Stones and Ake's injury.
He has a choice in it, Ozzy.
Right, does he?
Yeah.
I think the writing's on the wall that he's going to be honest to himself. He's going to go,
all right, Ozzy, you've got to quit your job and go and work inside it for 5 years. You don't get a choice in it. Tell your missus you're off.
Well,
you get a choice
in it.
Pay the house off on him, man.
And we've got to stop this. Players
there you go. If we're talking the same wages.
Players don't go where they're told. He's in the middle of a court battle with his kids, and he's going to disappear to the side of the world.
But why? Can I ask about Kimmich? Why do people think it's possible? Because in 6 months' time,
because he's got 5 months left in his deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can get 20 million for him now,
right?
Or nothing.
But why would
just
Kimmich do it?
Because walk over there, see ya.
Why would they want him?
Why would Kimmich do it? Because in 6 months he gets that fee as a signing on fee somewhere.
No, just pay some of it to him. Give him a couple of mil backhander.
Oh, we just throw
backhander there, Martin. We've already got in trouble with the 115.
We don't need backhanders anymore, man.
We're going to all right, well, in that case, you better keep Lord Panic on speed dial again.
No, but the problem is, as Tony said, to get 4 players in, you're going to have to sell 2.
I don't
forget Bob and Echeverria coming back as well.
This is what I'm saying. Some are going to have to go out.
Pat. Yep.
You can get 2 in, not a problem. To get 2 extra in, some have got to go. I'm trying to offload. I'm trying to give scenarios where we can sell 1 or 2. No, and we're back to this. Don't want to sell him.
McAtee can go. He can.
Yeah.
Why? It's no point in being it.
No,
William S. Brown can go.
McAtee plays 0 minutes. So who's taking that squad place to come in and play 0 minutes?
No, it didn't work.
Or is it
like
more?
that.
I get what you're saying,
No,
Mark, but is it
no.
more a case of?
Or
If it's
academy,
more
or
a case of.
full academy
No,
kids. Just
it's
take
more,
their spot.
but with McAtee, then it's more of a case of, are you going to replace him with a player that Pep feels more confident in giving him more minutes?
We've got how many kids on the bench right now that Pep just doesn't trust? You just put them back in the academy and you sign the 3 players, Martin.
For those spaces. Yep, I agree totally.
So hang
Also,
on,
why are we
then
not
we don't
prioritizing
want-
a defender? Because it's very clear that we have 7 defenders. Stones and Ake are made of glass, and that's a big problem. Plus, we have Walker who's finished, and is Rico even a defender? Like, that is too much pressure. Like, we need an extra body in there since we cannot rely on the fitness of 2 of them and then the performance of 2 of them.
I'm going to be honest with Rico right now. I think he's been rushed too quickly. He should be managed like how Pep managed Foden. He's been brought in way too much and he's been relied on way too much. He needs to go back on the bench and then come off the bench at times like Foden done. Right now, I'm sorry, but he's not good enough. And this is no offense to him. He's just not good enough to be in that centre. He's bullied. He needs a bit more muscle. He needs to grow up a bit more, and he needs more.
It staggers me. Staggers me. Some of the Rico Behaviour fans. We've got 30-year-old international world-class players who are playing worse than Rico around him, and then fans are getting stuck in Rico, who at the moment Rico's starting. Well, he's just attacking. Just about anyone who's ever played for us, but I don't get the Rico is there starting off moves, getting up to number 10 to try and help finish them,
had some absolute
scoring goals, and then when he can't run from the penalty spot to be 50 meters away from where he is in 1.2 seconds, beating Usain Bolt's world record time by 4 seconds, the fans smash into him. If Rico's a problem, it's because Pep is trying to get him to play as right back, centre midfield, number 10, and do it all whilst players around him who haven't got half the legs, are letting the team down far more. I think Rico has taken so much flack when he has done more than 50-60% of our team this season.
Too much, which is my point. I'm not having to go at the player. I think he's a brilliant talent. But what I'm saying to you is exactly what you've just said.
Yeah.
He's played too much. He's been relied on too much. He needs that great exposure like Foden got.
Yeah, but he can't because we've got injuries. He can't because he's got fitness and injury problems. He has to play when he can because there's no one else. Like he played left back.
That's what I'm saying. In January, this is why we get 2 midfielders in and a defender.
So he doesn't have to play,
Exactly.
Yeah, but also on the other side, I would sell Rico for 50 mil. Yeah, definitely would. I'd take
have a word, LB. Have a word today. What's he doing?
Would anyone else sell him for 50 million? 50 million for Rico?
No.
Rest in peace to
CFA,
Palmer. Rest in peace.
Then you'd all be whining like Alan in 2 years' time when he's playing for England and winning the Champions League with Chelsea.
This is what I mean. Hang on a minute. Let's go back 18 months. And LB, you were guilty of this, Anton and everyone else.
What am I guilty of?
Hang on.
I ain't guilty, man. I'm not guilty.
I'm not over.
Let me finish.
You
brought us on this show. He's calling us guilty.
Yeah, I'm gone.
On the show 18 months ago. So this
tribunal. 130 charges you're guilty of.
Who's in charge of the fact checking?
Every single one of us on here all went 50 million quid for Cole Palmer is an amazing. Every single person said it.
At the time it was, yes.
All I read now is we should never let him go. Oh my God. We've made a right, Bulf. Cheeky's in the mud. Why have we let Cole Palmer go? But we're now willing to get Rico out the door. So in 18 months' time, we can all go, shouldn't have sold Rico. Viana's an idiot. Why has he got rid of Rico? Come on.
So will we never say he's on
for 50 million, though? It's pure profit. The board would definitely sell him for 50 million for their PSR. The world we live in.
We haven't got a PSR.
We haven't got an issue with that. Yeah.
Our board probably don't even bother talking about PSR.
I won't be selling him now. Like, there's too many other players that we need to get rid of before Rico.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
Maybe in a couple of years when the squad's fully refreshed, we might look at him and go, you know what, he's not up to it, sell him. But right now,
there's
this
is a teenager.
Bad in our midfield because our midfield is shot.
Yeah,
If you ever want an
This is
example of
teenage-
a City
Yeah.
player that's come through the academy and been thrown in the deep end, it's Rico Lewis.
City player in the academy who's been man of the match multiple times in the Premier League, the Champions League, and in international football. There's not many teenagers in European football, let alone England, who can boast those things at a teenage level. And because when the team is massively out of form, he's not holding together the whole team as a teenager, would sell him. I mean, it's just his position.
Tony's the only person
and
saying
you think-
selling, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, hang on. Someone got to back me up here. Come on.
The next thing
anyone.
you're going to be talking about, selling Stones, and it's going to get really silly.
I personally
Yeah.
think you may have to think about it, Rich. Honestly,
Come on, Rich.
Nah.
You know that's
He's
a
here when
legit possibility.
he's the next buzzer. He's going to be here at 80.
stop living
still.
on sentimentality, Rich.
See, I don't
You've got
mind
to
that.
move.
Football is
Come on.
sentimentality.
No,
Rich, football
We
is
have a
sentimentality.
we have a show about main road days.
Rich, plays out, and I've got to get through the super chats. There's so many of them. I think alone would do him good. If once you've got a settled squad, but the trouble is we can't afford to loan him or sell him right now. You just can't. Maybe in the summer, look at it if you want to do or dip him in. The trouble is, Rico, what I think we may have a problem is right now is because he's played so many games. How would you then rescind him back to 10 games a season? Because he's now dipped his toe in the water. He's sat there going, well, I've got in the England team. Not just squad, he got in the England 11 doing this. And then we're going to bounce him back to the bench. He will say, I'm going. Bye. Because you're rolling his career back.
I don't think you're rolling his career back. I think you're managing his career. Look, that hasn't been done this season properly.
Yeah.
It hasn't been done last season properly. You've got to do what Pep did. Even the talent that we see. And we
Okay, question for you, Ozzy. When's the last time a club successfully got a player in? They played 50 out of 80 games, played Champions League football, played for their national side, and then a club successfully brought them back, put them in their resis for 2 years, and made their career better. It doesn't happen.
No, Rich, but that's not the argument.
When?
I'm not.
No, you are. You're saying we should try and do a Foden with him. We haven't. It's
no, because
that horse is
he's
bolted.
19 years old. He's still developing as a man. He needs that time because if you play him so much so quickly, the way we have been, you're going to burn him out before he's 25. All right, Rich? That is what I'm saying. He needs to be played the way we played Foden in. You can't just drop a 19-year-old in and play as much as he's been playing because he will make those mistakes.
I mean, yeah.
No, you can't, Rich.
Many
Let me just go through
Messi, Ronaldo.
Look what's happened to what's his face at Barcelona, Lemmy. He's just got injured. He's
Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, Yamal.
He's
Can I just go
16?
Yeah,
Some have been
Like a generational player, though.
Can I just say, Lauren, thank you for renewing for an 8th month. You are a superstar. Amar has renewed for a 9th month. Thank you so much. PK for 13 months. Thank you so much. Professional Sad Fam, who LB knows a lot, has renewed for a 5th month and then gifted 20 channel memberships. Thank you so much, superstar. Thank you so much. Bella has gifted another and then a 3rd channel membership. Thank you so much, mate. Danny, who hopefully I'll speak to later on a space, has gifted 10 channel memberships as well. Jessica has gifted a channel membership. Nathan has renewed for a 10th month. Mark Harris has renewed for a 10th month. You are all superstars. Thank you.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
And then the super chats. Let's go. Let's get these started. Sorry, I'm going to start here. Off Meta Professor with the 5. Thank you. I've heard many people saying City will only sign 1 player max for a while. Has that finally changed to 3 or 4? Or is it just PR? The club would like 3 or 4. It will depend. I think you can get 2. 2 will depend on outs. We're going to need to get 3. To get 4, you're going to need a couple of outs just to make the squad room.
And
which apparently McAtee.
and the big one is Bob and Echeverry coming in as well.
You've heard some on McAtee, haven't you, Tone? You tweeted it out earlier on.
McAtee, well, I don't think I tweeted it, did I? I think
Yeah, you did. I responded.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. No,
yeah, I think we should offer him as an all-star for West Ham.
I'm losing my
in the
memory.
summer.
Yeah, I think he'll probably go in Jan. McAtee. I think he
needs to.
He's asked to go. So.
I'll tell you where you could send him as well. You could send him to Palace, and then get Gay.
Or Newcastle.
Have you got a Gay poster up on the wall?
No.
Loving him.
I've just seen the talent, mate, and I'm just.
He's a good player.
LB's got a breaking
and
stream.
him to West Ham and get kudos over the summer.
He's going to go with Matt Gay tomorrow on a stream. Bet you.
I'll join him for that stream. I'll join him.
I like it. I think he's a good player. I thought he was mint for England in the Euros.
So,
yeah, he was good. He's a good player. But
good player.
LB98 with the £2 thing. Swap deal Gundo back for Felix Nemecha.
Ooh.
Nemecha had his chance. Both the Nemecha brothers had their chance.
Go on Nemecha back.
Both of them. Felix and...
Now we need to get Adeyemi from Dortmund. That'd be a good Holland backup.
Pitlup with the first of his super chats. Thank you, mate. So kind. Need to get you on here at some point, Pitlup. Company wouldn't have lost this many games. Oh, get off LB's channel. Look what you do. What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Christ,
what are you doing here?
Yeah.
That's
bloody people. Entire panel. Thank you very much, JTI. Appreciate your very kind generosity. And Pitlup again. Oh, Rico, Tony smoking drugs. Stop the waffle.
Not since college, but I will say this:
Pardon?
No one's offering.
What did you just say then?
Oh shit! I saw you in Dortmund last week, mate.
Yeah, he didn't inhale. Tony Clinton.
No, not the air.
No one's offering 50 for Rico.
He's running for mayor, is he?
Yeah.
Rico Lewis.
I rolled it, but I didn't inhale.
Right, so LB, because I know you. Is it 9 o'clock? You got what time's your show?
I got like 10 minutes.
Right, give me. If I said 3 or 4, give me your 4 in and your 2 out because you're going to need 2 out.
And obviously
Bruno,
Chris Wood's one of them, so you don't need to say
stop the Chris Wood, yeah.
Yeah, I'd get
all day.
I would get Bruno G. I'd get
how much? Give me figures. I'm putting you in the boardroom.
80 million.
Oh.
80 million.
Oh.
Is that net spend?
What?
Is that net spend or overall?
Jesus just scored.
Net spend, yeah, I guess. Net spend.
Just a bit of in and out, yeah.
Yeah, I'd sell McAtee 20 million. I'd
Rico?
buy. No, Tone. No, let's not play games. I'd buy defender wise. I actually don't know. who I'd get as a defender. Maybe go for Frimpong.
Oh, you'll wind Martin up. You'll wind Martin
think
up.
that is genuinely possible?
There you go. Told you.
I think if you drop 40 million on the head tops, you could probably get him.
40?
2024.
I want to know what LB's smoking.
40 million quid when they're in the Champions League, and you're like just going to sell their best right back out for 40.
Well, yeah. And then I don't know about an attacker. I don't know. I do feel like we could do with one more. I feel like we need like an attacker who can play in midfield and as a striker. A lot of people have been speaking about that Matheus Cunha. He's got 8 goals for Wolves this year. Powerful. He can play anywhere across the front line. Yeah. What do you think of him? You like Cunha?
Summertime.
I love Cunha.
He'll get relegated, so just get him in the summer.
Another squad player. We don't.
Yeah, I agree with Ozzy. Yeah.
Got to be thinking bigger. Got to be thinking of players that are going to come in and properly make an impact.
I know, but you can't go too big though, because otherwise they won't join because Haaland's there.
How do you want? Do you want to go and get a jacket there? Start sporting. There's the bench, mate. Hold it.
Do you know what?
Don't get me going with that. Yeah.
You all know who you're talking about. You just don't want to say it.
Look at that. Look at Tony. 250 likes. There's 406 people in. 250 likes, and Tone's going to drop 50 memberships.
50?
Oh,
When
wow.
did you say that?
That's the DM I just got.
I think you missed a 0 out.
500. I like it.
But what about someone like Delap? Why not? Why not?
Who?
Delap.
It's the end of that one. Anyway, he left 3 months ago.
And
The lap would
He
have
was
come back
sat-
anyway.
He left 3 months
Nah,
ago
I don't
because he
think
was
he
sat
will.
on the bench. You
Why
got to
would
bring
he
him
come back? He's living his life playing week in, week out for Ipswich in the Premier League. He ain't going to come back to City. No way.
Don't Chelsea want him?
Come on, behave yourselves, people. He's playing for Ipswich. Are you telling me if he got on the phone to him and said, "Come and beat Haaland's backup," he's not going to turn around and go?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'll say
Yeah.
no, because he'll back himself to get a bigger move in the
6
summer.
months ago.
He'll back himself to get a bigger move in the summer. Chelsea are rumoured to sign
Yeah,
him and put him as the
Chelsea.
number one.
Yeah, Chelsea
put him in
want
front
him.
of Jackson.
Apparently. Arsenal might too.
If you come to City, you know that you ain't playing in front of Haaland. If he waits
And
it
you
out
know
6 months, he can go Chelsea and start at Chelsea.
And you know you can come and win championships.
It's not enough
He's
for
already
everyone.
done it.
Alvarez,
He's not
look at
involved.
Alvarez.
He has been at City before, you know, mate.
I know.
Alvarez
yeah.
was playing week
We've
in,
got
week
a
out
buyback
last year.
clause. He's a quick, easy one to do.
We've never activated any buyback clause.
I don't think he'll
The only
want to.
buyback
What's
clause
the
we did
big
was
them
on
up?
Bruno. He's not going to. No, if it had been gone for 2 years, yeah. But he's been
can't
gone
see that.
3-4 months. He's not going to walk right back in and sit on a bench.
I can't see who that is in the picture.
It's the form player of the Premier League.
And also, I'm going to be
No.
very, very honest with you here.
You
Yes,
know.
he's
We'll
doing
scream.
very well for Ipswich. But if you ask a Hull fan or a Preston fan, they wouldn't have him back. We don't play anywhere anything like Ipswich Town Football Club.
We need to put in the ball in the back of the net. That's what we need him to do.
So what you want to do?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is to get a Delap, you're going to have Sap.
I don't think I ever said that.
But we don't play long ball. And that's what Ipswich do. Hoof the ball.
no, I
Why
think-
don't we? We have Ederson.
no, not for much longer.
Because-
yeah.
Use him how he can. That's where we miss Rodri this season, is those long balls.
Yeah. It doesn't generally, it only works when you're playing against a very good side, because otherwise they've got 10 at the back and you're just pumping a ball into the
Not
middle of 20
anymore.
players.
We're
I
not
think
getting
people are
low blocked
forgetting we've
anymore.
got
Teams are
Haaland.
not afraid
We're
of
never
us.
going to get a backup that is going to be happy.
Yeah, but they're still
I don't want a backup
still-
that what is
Yeah.
going to be happy, Rich. I want a backup that's going to come in and challenge, that wants to be there, that wants to fight for a position. Are you
You're not
telling
gonna
me
get
that can't do that?
I don't think you're going to get that.
You're not going to
Because
get that from
you
Delap.
can't, because you can't challenge Haaland. Haaland is the guy. He's too
Right
good.
now, he needs
But if he
some-
comes injured, we get in the same situation that we were in with Rodri. You have
That's why
to have
you've got to
someone
get.
to do.
That's why you've got to get a
That's why
midfielder
Ozzy-
who can play as a striker or get like an old
Foden.
striker.
You need,
Forward.
you
Yeah,
need
someone
another
is-
Alvarez.
Someone is probably about
And
32.
I'd look at someone like
Ozzy,
what's
Ozzy,
Pedro of
you want a-
Brighton.
You want a
Is it
striker
Pedro-
who's over 30.
Yeah.
He wants to come and earn money before they retire, wants to win trophies before they retire.
No.
They're over 30, they're Premier League proven. You go around the Premier League looking at that, and you've got Danny Welbeck or Chris Wood, and Danny Welbeck's shite. So,
Will you stop the? All right, then. I'm
no,
going
but he's just
I'm
perfect.
really going to put.
I would get Pedro. Is it Pedro from Brighton? I'm thinking.
João-
of?
oh,
Yeah,
God.
João
I would
Pedro,
get him
yeah.
because he would be a player that not only can play up front, but he can play on the wings as well. He's another person.
Can
think
I
he'd
throw you a
do
name?
Well.
Not Jokeres, please. Not
Don't
bloody
shout at me.
Jokeres.
Do not
Not
shout at me.
Gyökeres.
LB before, because LB has gone mad at me.
He's
on
going to
WhatsApp.
say Rashford, aren't you? You're not, are you?
No, he's
No,
not.
no,
Some of you are all going to do it. What? Listen to me. Listen to me. Right, before you change, I knew LB was going to do this. You should see the WhatsApp for the last 10 hours.
Yeah,
Anytime I mentioned it, it was.
It's a terrible idea.
No,
it
it's
is an
not.
awful idea.
Listen.
It's a terrible
Could you just
idea.
And
imagine
so's
the welcome to
Pogba,
Manchester?
by the way.
No, the welcome to Manchester poster
Agree with
with
you.
Marcus on it. Right?
So we're buying him for a poster.
No. Right? He's versatile. He plays a striker, second striker, number 9, winger, little bit of
He's
both.
shit on the wing. He's shit up front. We don't. Who cares? If he's
All our
versatile?
wingers are shit, though, Tone.
Yeah, but why are we
I just
adding
wait
more
for the
shit?
summer and go for Rodrigo.
You don't sort shit out by buying more shit. You're
United
not
haven't got
versatile.
Vegas.
You're shite.
That guy sucks.
No, the point is, whoever you get as a backup striker is going to have to be like your Vegas or your Kyogo or Kolo Muani. It's going to have to be someone who's a bit unhappy with what they're doing at the minute.
Yeah, Moani makes more
You're
sense.
not getting a
to me.
top striker to come and sit on our bench because hello
Yeah,
to
agreed.
everyone. Gabriel Jesus left for one reason. Julian Alvarez left for the exact
Jesus
same
really good,
reason.
though.
How many more backup strikers have
Although
got
he's
to
a
go
break
for the
today.
exact same reason?
It doesn't
Oh,
matter,
no.
Martin, because
Oh,
if you can
no.
bring them in and you can bring them in for a couple of
Ooh.
seasons, and then if they
Alice.
want to go, you make a profit like you did on Alvarez.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
Jesus has a hat trick.
But who? I don't think you're going to make a profit. So who? Give us a name that you could sign that's good enough that you're going to make a profit on.
I've just
Oh,
named
what striker?
2.
Who did you name?
I said Pedro at Brighton.
Yeah, but how much are you going to buy him for?
They'll
What,
ask for
you-
100 million. It's Brighton.
They're going to ask for absolute cash. You ain't selling him for a profit.
What about
And
Ferguson
he's
at Brighton?
23.
What about Ferguson at Brighton?
You might get him on. You might
Yeah.
get him on loan.
Yeah.
They
He's
want
not
him
playing
on.
right now.
So why not get him?
Ferguson's your best chance because he
Yeah.
doesn't play, so you might be able to get him for 40 mil. But João Pedro, I don't think you'll be able to get him for anything less than 65.
And it's
That's
again the
high.
situation of he comes from Brighton where he's scoring
there's
and
no
playing to sit
VAR.
on City's bench.
And Ferguson's probably more suited to the
And
way
what,
we're
that's what
playing
big
than
clubs
Pedro.
do, Tone. That's what big clubs do. They
Yeah,
go
but
in
what
there
big clubs
and get
do
a
that,
player.
Ozzy? Which ones have got two world-class strikers when they only play one?
Well, besides, we're not talking about a world-class striker. We're talking about a backup. We're talking about someone who can come in and do a job.
But you're
Whether that's
talking
for a
about a
couple of
100 million
seasons.
player.
Yeah,
You're
so
talking about a
that's
player
to me.
they'd want 100
Okay.
million for.
Yeah,
I'm just naming players. I'm not. It depends on what the asking club are going to ask for. I'm just giving you a couple of names. I'm not saying what the prices will be. I'm just naming names that are players that we could possibly bring in that can do a job, even if it's for a couple of seasons, and then we sell them on.
Should have got Jekyll, man.
Because we're never going to get
Balotelli.
anybody.
Run it
Oh,
We're
back.
never going to get
Balotelli's
anybody
still out
who
there.
can be a proper backup to Haaland.
You've not
You're
learned
never
from
gonna get
Gundogan, have you?
happy enough to be
The
back.
difference is
to
between
Haaland.
Jekyll and Gundogan. I don't need Gundogan. I don't need Jekyll to be running around everywhere. He scored 14 goals this year, by the way, Edin Jekyll. And
Hang
3
on,
assists.
hang on, stop.
Almost more than
I
Holland has.
just said we had a chat the other day and we said Haaland isn't moving a lot. So you want to bring in another lamppost who didn't move.
Lamppost.
Yeah, why not?
Are we just buying lampposts? What is this? Somewhere for your dogs to have a piss?
14 goals, lads. 3 assists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
but
Jermaine,
Ozzy,
Bad
no,
dwarfs.
At least mine is
Everybody
Savannah's just
except
signed
for-
a new deal. You had about 80, 90 million quid to get John Duran out of Villa.
No.
Oh, did
I
we
think
give the
you're
new kid do we give him
What if we
Obama a
took Ollie
try?
Watkins from them instead?
See, now that's now we're thinking. And Devan Abrama. Umbrema.
You give him
I don't know. The guy who did breaking
Obama a
news
try,
straight
man.
on. Yeah, I knew you had to get him in. You love him. You did a
Signed
big
him for
streak
£1
on.
million in the summer off West Ham.
That was in the MEN the other day, you know, that he could be the answer. Someone said that in the MEN. I don't know which reporter it was. Someone said he could be the answer as the backup.
maybe, but the guy scored 2 in the academy team, and suddenly he's better than bloody Messi.
He's only just joined it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just mad. He couldn't get a game at West Ham. I wouldn't be putting too much on him. I don't know.
I mean,
No,
would
I'm
you
just
try?
trying to think.
Would you just get someone really cheap? You know, go for a
this is
Callum
gonna-
Wilson or someone who you might get for 10
Who?
million.
Who?
Callum Wilson, goal every
Which
other
one is
game.
Straight for Newcastle
Using
right
an
now.
example.
Came on.
Go
Can he
on.
have someone who doesn't
Seriously.
come with, like, you know, Darren Anderson? No. What you doing
Ferguson,
here? Callum
Brighton.
Wilson?
It's Ferguson.
Yeah, but he's only going to play every 4th game. Ferguson, I like the shout because
No, he'll only ever play
Yeah,
every
I
fourth
like
month.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
Callum
But
Wilson will
Ferguson's a
play
sick
every
note
fourth
too.
month, Rich.
No,
Not
I
every
keep
fourth
being-
game.
I
Fourth
don't want
month.
anyone near the club named
Martin,
Ferguson.
Martin, you know who the answer is, but you're not prepared to embrace
it's
it.
not the answer.
Do it over the summer.
I'm offering
Isaac.
some
See what I mean?
alternatives.
Isaac. We're not getting any of the...
Isaac, bloody hell.
Isaac, if Haaland goes.
See what you've started here, Ozzy. Isaac, Jokeres, they're all walking out.
Ooh,
This is-
what's
this
that?
is the
I've not
problem
said
that
any
you've got.
names like that. I've not said any names like that. I've
No,
just
but
Junior
this is the
there.
problem that you've got though when you have players like Haaland and Rodri that they're almost too good, and it creates a major issue because you can't compete with Rodri, you can't compete with Haaland.
They're too
That's
good
just
for their own
massive.
good.
They're almost too good. Facts. Yeah.
Ollie
You
Watkins,
still have
he's
to
not
have
leaving
players
Aston
that-
Villa to come and sit on our bench.
I just said that a minute ago. As a joke.
Well,
You need players to come in,
the other
LB, that are gonna
the other
challenge.
option you have is a David Villa type, who can play wide forward and can play through the middle. So you have got the option like Rodrigo. If you were to get someone like him from Real Madrid, I'm not saying you do that in January, but that is a player who can play with Haaland and can play instead of Haaland. So that's an option, but if you do that, you're spending the best part of 100 million because you're buying a top class forward who can play 9 and can play wide. So that's an option too. If you spend.
See,
I've
you know
got
what's
another shout for
really
you.
annoying is you see players like Nketiah who just scored for Palace, and you think they were back up and they could have come in and just done a. The problem is we've got.
You didn't want Nketiah at City. That's not what you just said, is it?
No, hang on a minute. You said Chalobah.
We did.
No,
Chalobah's
don't
a
give me the
great
crap
shout.
when you've been giving me Chalobah for 3
Chalobah's
months.
a good player.
But so's Nketiah as a backup.
No, he's not. He's not a
Did
good
just
player.
score.
I know he just scored, but he's not a
Yeah,
good
but
player.
bloody hell. Yeah. If we're buying anyone who scored, you can't. Yeah, no.
No, my
He's not
point
good.
to
You won't
make
fit in.
it's like the KDB,
Yeah.
and I know this is John, but this is like the KDB. You are not going to get a KDB replacement. There is not a KDB replacement out there. There is no KDB regen. People need to come to terms with
Even
that.
worldwide,
You are
there's
not
not.
getting Musiala, and you are not getting Burts. So we now need to start thinking outside the box, which is why I was
Bringing
going
up
with
Simmons.
two midfielder role. Get 2 midfielders to do the role of KDB. That's going to be the only way around it. There is nobody else other than because Bayano looks amazing at the minute, but he's still a punt. He's not KDB level. And that's the problem we've got. We're always going to compare everyone to our former greats.
Do you think we can take advantage of this Barcelona situation with Olmo? Or is that not
No, I
worth even
think
looking
that
into?
gets sorted out, Barcelona always find some way wiggling around it.
Yeah,
If
La Liga
Barcelona
will
got
make sure they
115,
figure it
they'd
out.
already be out of it and cleared by now.
Selling the pitch.
That's what I mean. I don't know
Maybe
how
they ran out of
Barcelona got
grass
away
to
with
sell.
Yeah.
But
No,
I'll be
La
honest
Liga
with you,
will
Time,
fix it.
Time,
They
what's
need
with
to
you
get
in
that
this show, mate? All you talk about is grass.
I know, LB, you've got to go, mate.
Yeah,
So
I
you
gotta
go
go.
and enjoy.
See you later, guys.
We'll see you
Yeah,
later.
See you
before
later,
you
mate.
need 50
Take
care,
people
mate.
in, about to drop down to 100
Yeah.
because everyone's going out. I am going to say we're going to go for another 15 minutes and then we'll drop over to LB.
And then Pat and me will have work calls and we'll have to go.
Yeah. I believe we'll get there. I really don't. The thing
gonna
with
go for a
January is I think Walker goes. I'm going to throw another one at you right now. You're going to shock you. I wouldn't rule out Edison if they can get another one in Jam, depending on a backup.
Oh.
Situation is that bad at the minute.
Yeah, because Ortega could carry us to the summer at least, I think.
I really hope Edison's attitude changes round and he sorts his head out. I pray he does.
I
But
think he's off.
The club at the minute, I've
I
just
think
stopped.
he's going
Everything's
somewhere.
gone dead.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing. We don't want to have to
one
do that
Edison
in
comes
January.
out, another one comes in.
We don't want to have to do that in January because if he goes
No.
in January, we have to sign a top keeper, and that means we can only sign 2 outfield players. So it would be a big problem for us if he threw a strop in January.
I do think Kyle Walker needs to move on for the good of Kyle Walker and John. He needs to move for his own sake.
And
His
he needs
own
to go abroad.
psychological.
Yeah.
And I don't mean footballing wise, for his own psychological sake, he needs to go.
Yeah, he's
He's
taking a
been the
beating.
best right back for us, but he needs to go wherever it is, whether it's Sheffield or it's Germany or wherever. He just needs to go.
Yeah, but hang on. Are we saying he needs to go to get a fresh start? He's only moving down the bloody road to Sheffield. He's not
But then
exactly
it's
rushing
somebody
away
else's
from the
problem,
media.
isn't it? Somebody
You
else
can help them get promotion.
Sheffield
The trouble
United
is-
just want to take over. So let
The
them-
trouble is they'd have to, he'd have to write off so much money to go that I find it hard to imagine unless we give him a £10 million check that he'll go.
What
I
about
really do.
loan with part wage covered.
Isn't his wife
Well,
on it?
we'd have to pay 150k a week wages if he goes to Sheffield.
Probably.
No,
But
no.
that's the position we're in.
By the way, we're at 251 likes.
Oh, are we?
About to get 500 memberships.
I'll do 10. Bloody 50, 500. Where's this coming
I'm
from?
only
I'll do it
joking.
now. I'll do 10.
I'm only, mate, you don't have to do anything. You know what it is? It's like, I just feel Walker will go potentially if we can get a right back. My thing with Kimmich is, yes, it's not ideal. Now said it's ideal. I think ring pong could happen, but more the summer. Because the thing with Kimmich, it's two birds, one stone. He would have to take a wage cut. He would have to. Can't come in on 300 odd grand a week. My thing with KDB is the guy, I think that's a summer deal. The guy's on 400k a week. He's not going to take a wage cut to stay on. I think he's been one of, some will say, the greatest ever City player, but the guy is on 400k a week. He has no reason to take a pay cut. When he's been offered mega money in America and mega money in Saudi, why would he take a pay cut?
Yeah.
And while that 400k is on our books, you are not going to get anyone to come and replace. Because that is 400k a week. That is not little. That is huge amount of your wages.
So would you then go?
He's never going to be the player he was, because we can see that because he's managing his body right now. He's never going to put in the tackles we need him to do. He's never going to be able to put in the performances that we need him to do because his body just isn't able to do that on a consistent basis.
Is there anyone who would keep him next season? Give him another
KDB.
year. Yeah.
I'd be tempted to, because nobody else on this team can create anything.
400 grand a week, another year on.
You'd have to take a wage cut, and I understand he won't, but I mean, for even like the shell of himself, he's the best creator on this team by far.
Big up, bite your dick
get
off.
out there.
The problem is that you're relying on a player who he's as good as he can be. He's not reliable enough to warm the bench. You need players that are going to come in and start challenging for positions. We need to move on. As much as he's been a brilliant servant, we need to move on from that team. The spine of our team is pretty much gone. The likes of Edison, the likes of Bernardo, the likes of KDB, Gundo, those players are now done. We need to move on.
The only one creating.
Yeah, that's my point. There's nobody on this team doing anything else besides KDB.
Buy a creator. That's what we need to do. We can't just rely on.
So you know, 400k a week, they're not then going to replace. This idea that they're going to keep KDB on 400k and then Walsh Burtson on 250, they ain't going to do it.
250.
That is FIFA. That is FIFA. And then give Haaland his thing, then give Foden his thing. We'll have the highest wage bill in the galaxy.
Foden has earned it yet, though. I don't know why we're giving Foden
this is where PSR does kick in. You can only spend 70% of your turnover, your overall turnover. If you've got a wage bill of 400 million quid, you'd hit more than 50% of your turnover just in wage.
Couldn't City, if they wanted, the City Football Group, offer him 200k a week to stay at City with a guaranteed 600k
200 grand a week bonus.
No, listen. 200 grand a week to stay at City with a guaranteed 600 grand a week 2-year contract at New York, following on from it.
If he's willing to do that,
which he won't.
Are you willing, as KDB, when you've got 800 grand a week sat on at Saudi, 500-600k a week sat on in the MLS, would you drop to 200k a week?
He's look at him. He's pale and ginger. He's not going to Saudi.
What did he say? What did he say? Generational wealth for his family.
Yeah, but then generational sunburn.
Can I just step it away? Bite your dick off. I love it, but I prefer your old name. One shot your dick off. One shot your dick off is the best, mate. Blue Tone, thank you, mate, for gifting 10. You are a superstar. You want to do this because of one reason.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
See, everyone's saying to keep Kev, though. Keep Kev. So,
for the right price, I would. Just because no one else is showing anything on our team.
Kev's in a Fernandinho position right now. He can go 1 year at a time if he wants.
Yeah.
That I agree with City Slacker. but I don't see Kev doing that. Why would Kev drop 150k a week when he's
Make it
gone?
incentive based.
400.
Make it incentive based.
It's 400
Goals
on
and
the goal.
assists, minutes played.
We offer
trophies.
him something in America afterwards.
He's already got the America offer.
That's
Yeah,
outside
but
of
somewhere less sunny.
And
Somewhere
you're
a
all
bit
living in the
more
past.
his weather.
And I'm
What?
sorry, but
Hang on,
that's just not
you're
going to
being
work.
so sentimental. You're doing because, by the way, Wirtz and Musiala are not available again in a year, so you've still got the same problem 12 months down the road.
Exactly, and that's why you
You're
need to
not
be looking
kicking
at
the
someone
can
like
down
Wirtz
to
in the
get
summer.
Musiala in.
You've got to get these players now in the
Yeah,
summer.
Musiala and Wirtz, Rich, are still not attainable in 12 months.
We've got to move on. We have to move on from David Silva. We've now got to move on from KDB. It's just the way things go. We can't keep keeping these players and hoping that we can just keep playing them forever. I'm sorry, Rich, but you've just got to accept he's done. We have to move on.
No one's saying
No,
we don't
what-
move on. You're just saying you
You
can.
are.
You
You
can
keep
bring.
him for
No,
another
no,
year or
no.
two.
Yeah,
Behave.
I'm saying that you've got
not
to
going
buy
in
the
January,
replacement.
many injuries.
But I'm still a big believer that if you bring in a replacement and you kick out the old player, you're gonna have
got rid of
much bigger
Bernardo,
risk. I haven't got rid of Bernardo.
All right. So hang on a minute.
Ozzy got rid of
Bernardo's on
everyone.
300k a week. Grealish is on 300k a week. Foden's on 400k a week. Foden's going to get a new contract. Rodri's going to get a new contract. Haaland's getting a new contract. Jesus, we're failing. Forget fees. We're failing it on wages. Is there a player not on 300 grand a week?
Edison.
And he wants 300k a week. This is what I'm saying.
LB would give him 300
What
a
is
week.
this? Jesus, everyone's like just throwing wages around like it's confetti here.
I feel like me and you right now, Mark, are the only sane people on this panel.
No,
Hey,
it's my
Sorry,
thing
Tony.
is-
Sorry, Tony. I haven't really heard what you've said.
No, I'm all right with the stuff, but it's the wages. And we're going to end up with the same problem we've got right now, where you've got a John Stones on 250, you're going to struggle to sell.
He's made
You've
out of
got
glass.
Nunez on a 4-year deal still
He's
got
not
4
good
years left, 2028. Well, 3.5. He's on 180k a week. You can't get rid of Calvin Phillips because of the wage he's on. And then we want to bump everyone and give KDB a brand new 400 grand a week contract.
I
And
don't
then
think
buy
anyone,
replacements.
no one, Martin, has said give him a 400k a week contract. People said give him a 250, a 200. If he doesn't take it, he goes. So no one
He's
said
not
pay
going
him
to accept
300
it,
grand.
Rich. Behave. He's just not going
Well,
to
then
accept
it's
that.
it's not an issue then. Then it's not an
Exactly.
issue.
That's what I'm saying. It's not an issue because he's going to go. He has to go. It's that simple, Rich.
So no one would take KDB back for another year, 400k. Everyone says he can go.
He's got,
Well,
he's got to go.
Right,
No,
depends
no,
what happens.
yeah.
Depends what
I'm
happens
fine
in
with
the
it,
next
Paul.
6 months.
But then I
If he
accept
didn't
no
get- yeah.
replacements come.
Yeah.
No, I'm of the
Yeah.
understanding then you're not buying a replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. KDB could get injured tomorrow and not play again this season. And then no one's going to say we want him. He could stay fit the rest of the season and do a good job. And then everyone's going to be different. So the reality is, between now and April, what KDB does on the pitch and what he wants to accept is going to determine whether there's a deal. He might play brilliantly and then get offered 1.2 million a week in, or someone come in and offer him 500k a week in Europe, and he might go. So we have to see what happens. He might be injured and not play another game this season, in which case there isn't going to be a single City fan who's saying keep him.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what
Okay.
they're taking, they're getting them.
Okay,
This
so
is what
let's
I mean.
say, sorry, Martin. Let's say he stays fit, plays pretty well. Would you offer him 400 a week, no replacement from the summer, give him another year if he plays well and stays fit?
No.
Dude,
Depends
bring back
who we
Marcus
sign.
Lewis. He's
Yeah.
had a great block.
Tone, if we say sign Bruno G and Rodri's back fully fit, and so Bruno G's going to play, or Rodri's going to play more forward, and if Foden got his form back, we might be in a position to do that. But I think we have to look at the midfield in totality, and whether you can keep De Bruyne, I guess, depends very much. Like, for example, if Bernardo was want to go to Portugal and Gundo says I'm retiring and joining the coaching staff, then you can afford to keep KDB because you're going to have two younger, better, different midfielders in. If Gundo says I want to keep playing, I've played enough games this season, I want to keep playing, and Bernardo isn't going to be sold because he's waiting for a freebie to Benfica, then KDB probably is impossible because you've got two older midfielders in there. So I think you have to look at it in totality. We can't have 3 or 4 old midfielders in there next season. We have to have 1, 2, 3 coming in and refreshing it. So I think you have to look at that totality. If Gundo was to go and Bernardo was to get his green move to Barca, it is a different question to, if those two are staying and we can't sell them, and then you're looking at De Bruyne and saying, well, there's no way we can afford to keep a third. So, and there's also his fitness and his form for the rest of the season, because we haven't really seen it for 2 years because of injury. We can't afford a third season of that. But if he gets fit and this big break helps him, he's a different player.
Listen,
we can't do what we did. We can't do what we did. We can't do what Liverpool did a couple of seasons ago, where they kept the likes of Henderson and Fabinho. Do you know what I mean? These players,
like what we have now, though. That's what
exactly
our midfield looks like.
That's what our midfield looks like. And look what happened to their title chances. They were completely out the window. It's where we are right now. If we continue to keep these players keep going, that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, but that's keeping all of them. Liverpool's issue was 4 old midfielders, and that's our problem today. But if Gundo, Bernardo, and someone else was there,
we've only got one.
Keep...
We've got 2 midfielders right now, really, that we can build the future around. That's Foden and Rodri.
But you can have old midfielders if you've got good young players around them. I mean, Real Madrid have shown us with 2 35-year-old plus midfielders. If you've got young quality players around them, you can have a KDB if he's got a Rodri and some 23-year-old, energetic midfielder. You can afford it. What you can't afford is all your midfielders being like that. You can't have, Modric and Kroos if you haven't got your Camavingas, your Chimenez, and your Valverdes, your Carvajals. You've got to have a mix. And our problem this season is because of injuries. We've been stuck with 3 players playing, none of whom have pace, none of whom have energy, and none of whom have
physicality. I would agree with you. I would agree. Sorry, Tone. I would agree with you with one aspect. Real Madrid don't play in the Premier League every season.
I think you two
Real Madrid play in La Liga. They don't play against the quality of opposition that we have to play in, week out. And then
and they don't play. And they didn't play Kroos and Modric week in, week out. They didn't play them together week in, week out.
I know, but you've got
it's usually one or the other.
You can't big games. That amount of players. You need to move on.
Taking all the good midfielders too. We need to bribe one of their midfielders to come to us, like Tushimani or somebody. Like, get him out of there. Bring him to Manchester.
But are those players?
I'd love Valverde's
Valverde, yes.
Oh, Valverde, yeah, definitely. But Bernardo, Gundo, and all and all those people say they're finished. Are they finished, or as Rich just hinted at, is it because they're playing every 3 bloody days because of the injury problems? And that's the issue. Maybe the issue is they're not finished; they're just bloody knackered because of the injuries. I think a lot of people discount this. The amount of people that say you can't complain about injuries. You can, because we've got 10 players that are injured or unfit.
I agree.
Yeah, any team would struggle with that amount. I don't care what you think of Arsenal. They're all over social media crying if they're missing just Odegaard. Well, imagine them missing both centre backs, a couple of midfielders. They haven't got any strikers, but the wingers, the keeper, throw them all out the bloody team.
They've had a lot of injuries too.
So, but people don't miss that, and that's why Bernardo's knackered. That's why Gundo's knackered and having to play in midfield. They're tired. I don't think they're finished. They're just tired, in my view.
Yeah, but then you've also got to look at the bench, though, Tone. We haven't got the quality on the bench right now. We've got kids on the bench, and Pep doesn't trust them.
Yeah, but there's got kids on the bench because of injuries.
Sorry, can I just add? Camavinga's on 200 and something K a week.
Kemovic, dude, he'd be great, man. That guy, that'd be our best
I
midfielder.
understand. Like Jessica's put in the chat about he has been offered a job at the CFA, and he may want to stay in Manchester, but he's got to take a pay cut then.
Yeah,
you can't stay on 400k a week and then you all demand a replacement.
Yeah, obviously, I see what you're saying about the bench, but the reason the bench is literally dead is all got youth players that Pep doesn't trust is because of injuries. Kovacic is only just back. You know, we know the injuries. We don't need to list them. It is what it is at the moment. Bernardo has to play. And people keep saying, oh, well, bring in O'Reilly, bring in McAtee. Look, people, it will get worse with those players. You cannot throw players like O'Reilly and Simpson in, say, Villa at the weekend. That is a complete and utter disaster waiting to happen when those players around them aren't even playing well.
Without wanting to write off their careers.
I agree with Tone, but also, like, you're looking at like players like Nunes and Grealish who are just not good enough.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They're not good enough.
That's fine, but who comes in then?
We don't have anyone. The
we've
bench is better.
No, right now, I mean, I'm talking about those type of players that you try and move on in the summer. It's not for January. I'm just saying those players, we haven't got a bench that we can rely on that can come in and make a difference.
Yeah, but is that because of injuries?
It's not because of injuries.
I don't think so. Well, think about it this way. Who was our midfield at the start of the season? It was going to be Rodri,
let's be honest.
And Foden, or was it going to be? Let's pretend Rodri's healthy. What is our midfield? Would it have been Rodri?
If they were all,
it would have been 8. Would have been Rodri. Foden. Like, what would that combo have been?
If they were fit and in form, it would have been Rodri, De Bruyne, and Foden.
Okay.
Which is,
and so
unfortunately, Rodri's got a ACL. Foden's been very sick, and KDB's injured. So that's that entire midfield's up in the air. And we would have strength off the bench, Ozzy, if we had no injuries. If we had no injury, we would have the likes.
Wouldn't be good enough.
Name those players.
If we were fully fit, we would have.
Who we got?
From today, if we were fully fit, we would have the likes of Savio, Grealish,
not midfielder, he's winger.
Nunes, Bernardo, all those players would be.
Nunes isn't good enough.
We would have Nunes, Kovacic, and Bernardo on the bench if we were fully fit.
Kovacic is a useful player, but he's a bench player. He's not good enough.
I'm talking about. You just said he's on the bench. You just said he'd be on the bench if we were fully fit. We would have Bob, Nunes, Savio, Kovacic, Grealish, all on the bench.
Yeah, Kovacic has won everything multiple times. He's better than a bench.
Fully fit, we put.
So then would it have been Kova, Rodri, Foden if healthy?
But I don't think you would need to name it because then you would be. That's what we're trying to say. You would be able to alternate it. You could have Rodri, Kova, De Bruyne, or you could have Rodri, Kova, Foden with De Bruyne outright. That's what we're trying to say.
Rodri,
when
Bernardo.
the squad is fit, you have options. The squad is not fit, we don't have options. And that's the problem. People discount it and say, no, we need another 4 players. Well, actually, as Pep says, we need to get the players we've got back fit. That is the priority at the moment. Get the players back. If we have
can I just say that
we're better.
House Captain said, but if the player agrees punishment, then the short of the wage follows suit. Not necessarily, because you got to remember, KDB has 2 offers elsewhere on mega money.
I don't know about the MLS one though, because I don't know how they do that wage thing.
Way to do
New York makes.
They don't make any money.
No,
I've
said on numerous shows before, New York makes perfect sense. Going to New York makes perfect sense for KDB because you see the money that Messi got. He'll think, I'm not going to get the same wages as he does, but I want a piece of that. You know what I mean? And I think New York will be suited for him with his kids growing up as well. His wife's involved with the fashion industry as well too. New York would just be perfect for her to continue her career as well. And not only that too, just as a way to promote the City Football Group as well. What better way than have Kevin De Bruyne playing at New York City when you move into your new stadium in Queens in 3 years' time? Or in less than 3 years' time. It just screams New York to me.
You know what it is for me, Pat? It's that fear of KDB going. There is a fear of KDB walking out of this.
Yeah, we've all got a form of separation anxiety from
everyone has got an anxiety over it.
Yeah.
Because the trouble is, because Musiala and Verts are probably not available, it's keep KDB now.
Yeah.
The trouble is, if KDB goes down injured again next season, what do you do?
Yep.
I'm not saying he's not a possibility of staying. I agree. But then you would have to accept, because our wage bill is huge. Huge. And people don't realise.
It's not like it's not problematic. It's not like Barca from
lately.
Yeah.
Do you know
it's not like Barca from a few years ago, which caused them to have all their
a lot of
debt
our players
now.
are paid more
It's
than
not
Real
like
Madrid
that, but it is
players.
big,
I've
yeah.
just looked.
That's just bad planning, then.
Real Madrid players are not on some of the
United,
wages
like.
our lot are on.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva is on more than Tuchemene, Camavinga, and a lot of others. He's
Probably
on
Valverde,
300k a
too.
week. Jack Grealish, he's on 300k a week.
Why would we give all these high wages out?
Because the
Because
club
Jack
been
Grealish comes with a
reckless.
premium. He comes with boss. He's the second highest shirt seller in the club.
Because let's
get paid for that.
But also, too,
let's just forget all this slagging off reckless.
I'm not slagging off. By the
No,
way,
no,
Rich, I'm just talking.
but Ozzy's saying reckless. That recklessness has won us 4 titles on the trot. I would say if you look at our club and the way it's managed, we are probably the least reckless big club in European football. So it's ridiculous to say we're reckless because we've rewarded some of the players
because we're in this position right now where we're in full-on crisis.
But that Aussie, that is assuming that a club can win the league every year forever and never make a mistake. It's ridiculous. You know, we could have replaced everyone 3 years ago and won 1 title, and we'd have our banner up saying 1 title. We won 4 titles.
Has he upset you tonight?
Management. Well, he's just he wants to sell every player. He wants to write off the last 4 years as if it was incompetence, even though it's the greatest side English football has ever seen. And yes, we went 1 season too long, but we've got the 4 titles that no one else is ever going to get. And had we done all these different hindsight things everyone now says we should have done, we wouldn't have got those 4 titles, and we wouldn't be able to say to United and the Scousers, we've done something you'll never do. And I'm not writing off our history, our last 4 years, and saying, "Oh, we should have been in them all and done it differently," because we got it. And yes, we're eating a bit of medicine now, but I'm fine having a bit of medicine now because we got 4 titles, and we wouldn't have done it if we'd have done everything differently. And
this
I'm saying we could have done things last summer differently, Rich. That's what I've said.
Yeah, and then we wouldn't have won the league, and we just say we're one of like Huddersfield and Arsenal United.
Excuse me, Rich. I'm talking about last summer. 4. Last summer, Rich, when we won 4 titles.
Oh,
well, listen to my words. I said last summer, if we'd have spent some money and brought in some players, we may not be in this mess that we're in right now.
But
that's fair.
Players, right?
Last summer.
And if my uncle should be my uncle, what we doing here with all this money babies?
Yeah.
If my auntie had a wheel, she'd be a bank. What we doing?
If we'd have given Rodri 2 more weeks off, we might not be in this position. But
bringing him back against Inter and Arsenal was questionable to me. Those are 2 really, really tough games.
Comes to what no one saw wasn't totally back this up. He was bitching at the West Ham game to Pep.
Yeah.
He wanted to play or he didn't want to?
He wanted to play.
He goes to Pep and goes, "Play me against West Ham. Why am I on the bench? I've been fit now. Play me." Pep goes.
And on the other hand, he has press conferences where he says we need to be careful about the minutes players are playing.
Because Pep said to him, "Don't go to the media saying you want a rest. They give you a rest, and then you moan at me."
Yeah.
Martin,
when he played him, he gets injured. That's just so. This is the point where I've always said about players. What players say and what they mean are 2 different things. Never believe a footballer when he goes, "I need a rest." When they say a rest, they mean 1 game, 2 games. That's it. After that, they're back. If you rest them 4 or 5 games, they start throwing the toys out the pram.
Martin, can I just say, right, if for the people that will want loads of more players and all the rest of it, can I just give you an example of the bench? If we had a fully fit squad, right, we'd have Ortega. I'm just going to run through just a pure example of one. Ortega, Ake, Rico Lewis, John Stones. Okay, that's from the back. Oscar Bob. I'm just going to give, and this is 9 outside of an 11. Doku, Grealish, Dundo, Kovacic. And that is excluding Nunes and McAtee, who wouldn't even be on the bench, who wouldn't be in the squad. So when you have people that are going, we need 3 or 4 more. So and 2 or 3, and no one goes.
Come on, be nice. It's an opinion, mate.
That is the bench.
I am
Okay,
too.
that is the
To be
example
fair,
of a
I
bench.
am
Is that
actually,
bench
but
not
I'm
good
on
enough?
paracetamol. I'm getting over a cold.
Kane, I don't know what's got into you lately, mate. Relax. Come on.
But
It's an
is that
opinion,
bench?
I think you need somewhat tone smoking.
Yeah, Ozzy didn't inhale either.
I didn't.
See,
But
this is
that is an example of a bench.
yeah,
Sorry,
this
Mark.
is the problem. It's like
Do you know what,
Edison.
Tone?
You know what you end up with? Edison says, "Oh, I'll have a rest, please." So last season has a game or two out, and then he's kicking bottles around. What players? No player. This is Alvarez played 3,000 minutes and then went, "What a go!"
We wanted to be a striker. That's why he went.
No, Raheem Sterling was the second highest minutes player in the year he has to leave. It's because they're not playing in the big games.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling doesn't want to play Southampton. He wants to play Real Madrid.
Mahrez hat trick
Oh,
against Sheffield
Mahrez.
United in a cup semi final.
Is that what happened when he got
barely
to
played a
play the
minute
big
after
game
that
in
for the rest of the
final
season.
against Chelsea? Ugh,
Yeah.
stinker.
Sometimes the players have got to own what they're saying. They say all this, rest me, rest me, rest me. The manager goes, right, I'll rest you. And then the bottom lip flies out.
But that's what you want.
Yeah,
with
rest
some
me,
respect, Martin.
but not this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
want
rest me
players-
when I tell
Rest me
you.
against
Yeah, yeah,
Southampton.
Yeah. When
You
we're
want
playing
players
Chelsea
who-
in the cup, rest me.
You want players who are going to come in and challenge. You want players that are on the bench and they're not happy about being on the bench. Right now, I feel we've got too many players who are just happy to just get by on what they're on.
It's a lot of passengers,
Yeah, there are a lot of passengers.
not a lot of
There are a lot of
drivers.
players who are just broken. You know, and,
You know what
and
it is?
Tone,
How
to
do
your
we
point,
protect Pogba?
Tone, to your point about saying like sort of Aki and Stones, honestly, they're not, because they're so injury prone. I don't think you can count those players really moving forward. I think you've got to be honest, Tone. You've got to be honest and go, we need replacements for these players.
That's
can't-
fine. That's fine.
Oh,
but then who's
but we
going to
need
buy John
we need an
Stones?
extra body. We need an extra body.
But
We need an
who's
extra
paying for
defender.
John Stones?
Ozzy, I think the one
Bring
thing
back
you're
Robert
missing
Ellis.
is the problem this season has been with Stones, with Ake, and with Walker. We have had to play all three of them when we shouldn't have played them because they couldn't be rested. If we'd have had one more body and Stones was given an extra week, Ake was given an extra 2 weeks, Walker was given the 2 weeks off he needed, they'd probably be back fully fit and not a problem. Our problem is this season, because we were one body short at the back, and possibly at least a body short midfield, we've had to play a lot of players injured. We've had to play Foden when he shouldn't have played. We've had to play Bernardo when he shouldn't have played. We've had to play. The only player we've held back is KDB. It's the only player we've actually given proper rest
How many
to.
defenders have we got in the team?
We've got 7, and 7's not enough.
No.
See, hang on,
Well,
Alan's
When
Fiona.
five of them, 4 or 5 of them are old.
This is Alan who
It's
says
been a
play the
track
kids.
record for Stones.
Play the kids can't do any worse. But this is
No,
Alan who
yes, they
slagged
can.
Rico off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make
They-
your
they-
mind
We've
up.
seen
Oh,
Rico
no.
though. We haven't seen the other kids. We've seen Rico and we've seen like
Because
his
they're not doing
specific
it in
problems.
training. They're not doing it in training, clearly.
Surely, if they're good enough, Pep plays them.
No. Well, Gundogan doesn't do it in any games, and he plays every game.
Gundogan's been all right for the last 2 games.
Yeah.
I think he's
bloody
been our
well.
best
That
midfielder. I don't
midfield's
know
been
what
an
they-
issue all season. Bernardo's been terrible since the treble season, and he never gets questioned.
I wouldn't say.
Of course he does.
terrible.
Gets
I think
questioned
he's
on it.
been.
There. I don't think he was terrible.
Honestly,
last
if you go
season.
with
Rich.
Jacob Wright, now, this is my thing that's me. Yeah, they played all right against Tottenham. Tottenham's second string. Wasn't Tottenham's first string.
Do
What
people
if you
honestly
put him next to
think-
Gundo?
but do
Gundo and
peop-
Wright together, a double pivot.
But do
So Gundo's
people
experience
honest-
there, and he can tell him what to do, and then Wright can be his legs. Because Gundo
So
has played
Wright-
better with legs next to him.
So Wright and do people honestly think putting Wright and O'Reilly ahead of Gundo and Bernardo solves Premier
No, I
League
think
games?
I
So
think
we
one
gotta
of
do
them
it.
next to Gundo, like together at the same time as a double pivot.
So we're dropping Bernardo for Wright at Villa.
Not at Villa. Do it at home. Or it's a
The
little
problem is
less.
time.
Do it in the Salford game. Test it out in the
Yeah,
Salford
but they'll
game.
play against
Salford,
Salford. But
yeah,
the trouble
that's
is, we'll have
fine.
spent 200 million by then, and they'll be back out on the bench.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Salford.
Remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
game.
Yeah, being honest though, like with the kids, if Pep trusted them, they'd be playing. He doesn't trust them enough. End
Yeah.
of.
But why
You know,
doesn't he
these-
trust them?
Because they're not good enough. Obviously,
Exactly. That's the answer.
Good enough. If they're good,
I'm going to
exactly.
say this and be honest. McAtee has played 2 full games this season. I was not impressed in either.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry. So this playing, he's played against Watford.
Yeah.
He struggled. Despite scoring, he struggled. Tottenham, I didn't know he was on the pitch.
The thing is, with the young players, if Pep thought realistically that he could bring them in, they could do a job, he would have been sensible and gradually brought them in over a couple of games. Not all at once, maybe one coming in, doing a job, helping out, but he hasn't.
But they're not good enough.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If he's not doing that, Tone, that's the reason, because he doesn't trust them enough. And if he doesn't
trust Oscar Bob, because he did it with Oscar Bob last year. Dipped him in, scored a goal, dipped him out, dipped him in. That's when you know the trust is there.
He trusts
But
Rico.
like, he does it with he does it with players like that who he thinks are top quality, like Rico, like
he doesn't
Bob,
trust
who
O'Reilly and Jacob, right? He doesn't. We have to
It just
accept
doesn't.
that.
Yeah,
because they're not good enough.
I get it on those two.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it
Keep
is?
whining
This is
about it,
why
but I
I
get it.
said this. I say this every single year. Too many people get excited with pre-season. So we all roll over to America. We take the EDS. For the last 3 years, we roll out the EDS and they play a few games and everyone goes, amazing. And then they all go.
Rico.
I had to spend a whole
the
day,
first team.
I had to spend a whole day in Orlando trying to keep.
That is how Rico
Martin
got his.
calm.
I had no idea who Rico was until I saw him at Green
You
Bay.
should have seen Pat was there with his own
It was impossible. I couldn't stop Martin. Martin was just carrying on. Yeah, he was just doing the Team America World Police thing. It was just arms, limbs. It was just scenes and limbs everywhere he was.
But
what made me laugh is Micah Hamilton, and who was the other one who went? Who was the other one?
Micah Hamilton, Christ. That sounds like, seems so long ago.
Yeah.
Soho.
I was at one of those.
They'd already agreed their deals before they'd even got into America. Mick Hamilton had agreed the Middlesbrough deal, and Soho had already agreed to go out and loan. He's back now.
That's the one.
It's like Kabore. A moment. I remember Rich on here telling me Kabore was going to be the best right back in the world and can't wait to see it. He goes to Benfica and shits the bed.
Yeah, I don't think the best right back in the world. I think said he looked very good in the African Cup of Nations.
He did.
Which he
went to Benfica and looked like absolute garbage.
Yeah, they're trying to send him back.
And they want to send him back.
Martin Ed says
That's
in the chat.
Well, there's your Walker replacement.
Oh.
Well,
Ed says in the chat, why do we give these guys roster spots if they're not trusted? Because we've got injuries. O'Reilly's not on the bench if we've got no injuries.
And you're not really giving them a roster spot. The ones who are under 21 are on a B list. They're not taking up any space in your squad. So you can have 15 of them, and you should have a long B list of youth
this
players.
Is why
but
that
the likes of
25-man squad that is right, it's misleading because Tony's right in what he says. We have got a 23, 24-man squad, but we only play 16 players. The other 8 are kind of like just there for the numbers. We have got the numbers, but they're just there for so this is why then some go, we've got a small squad. We technically have, yes, but numbers-wise, we haven't. It's then who Pep uses that makes it look like the small squad.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to change that, Martin.
From a few things we
need to now
Pep's made some comments suggesting
players
he's going
who
to
can add
change.
to that bench. We can't any longer because he's admitted himself. He only admitted in a press conference this week saying that he needs more players. He can't just rely on the 16 players he's got.
No, we're not doing that. No. I shouldn't have said Pep likes to dip in and out. I really shouldn't have said that. Anyway, right.
But the only reason I keep bringing up Wright is I've just heard the club highly rate him. So I thought that maybe they would push Pep into giving him some chances.
Jacob Wright's been there for about 2-3 years.
He's good, but the same goes with the likes of Rico and Foden. You have to gradually bring these players in. You can't just expect them to come in and be superstars. You've got to gently bring these players in.
But Wright was wanted on loan by Peterborough. That is Wright's level right now.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
But it is. He says Soho or whatever he was called.
Oh, shit, against Peterborough.
He went to Peterborough on loan, got injured. That's their level right now. Why are we playing players that are Peterborough level?
I remember Micah Hamilton
because of injuries.
Michael Hamilton went to Copenhagen last season. Was it Copenhagen? Scored that worlder at a man of the
Yeah,
match
that's right.
performance, and everyone went, "Get him in." He's gone to Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what Middlesbrough fans are saying about him. So this is, you know, what we've forgotten is we don't like this. We've forgotten the level Manchester City is. Just because they're academy players does not mean they are good. They are automatically allowed in. You've got to be good enough to get in.
I think
Well,
also people
currently
are
got
just seeing
players who are
like
not
the
good enough to play
Palmers
for
and
City.
the Morgan Rogers and all these other academy kids succeeding elsewhere, and we would like to see some people stay
because we
I think
play a
that's part
different
of it.
system. I watched Morgan Rogers for the EDS against Girona when we came back from the World Cup in a Pep system.
Oh yeah,
He was lost.
Yeah.
In a Villa system, this is what we forget. If not everyone plays Pep Guardiola football.
Yeah. And some of these players have been out 2 years and played a lot of football at other clubs. So
How do I sound like
you know-
Hamza? I haven't said
What?
spend. I haven't said spend 800 million, have I?
Sounds
Right,
something like Pat might
last
say.
few super chats and then we'll wrap up because I know LB's live. Kenneth Bell, thank you for your very generous $4.99. The 115 is the reason we have been conducting a yard sale that has destroyed the fitness of the team. We won't get anyone decent in Jan. Suck it up. I hope you are wrong. Thank you for your very generous super chat. And Sniffer NUFC, by the way, congratulations on getting to the semi-final of the Carabao. After a
I'm
good
rooting
win
for
tonight.
Newcastle in the Carabao.
God bless, buddy. Thank you. Thank you so much for your very generous $1.99. What I will say is, in closing, is January, I think we will spend. I think we'll get 2 or 3. Plus Echeverria, you've got Oscar Bob coming back. I do think 1 or 2 will go. I've been told, I'm starting to think maybe Kimmich could happen. I've had WhatsApps as we're going along here. I think Kimmich may be happening, and you can shrink there you want. I think Kimmich could happen.
Martin, I think we need quality.
I think he
that
could.
You've just
you
been
can
complaining
rely
about the
on
wage
to hit the
bill.
ground.
You've just been
Yeah.
complaining about the wage
But-
bill.
No,
and now you're
no,
gonna
I'm
sit
short
there
term.
saying, who's going to
I've
ask
got
for
rid of-
3,
no,
4 bill?
No,
Yeah.
Ozzy, because I've leveled it out. I've got rid of Walker, mate.
Yeah.
Short term,
I'm not
short
keeping
term,
Walker.
we've got
I'm
to
not
act.
Termism. We need
Short
players.
term,
to come in.
we've got to act to make sure in the Champions League the year after.
Yeah, you're not
Short
getting
term, we cannot
right,
afford
John.
to not come top 4. And I think if we sign 3 players, except the backup to Erling is going to have to be old or young and risky. But we need 2 top quality bodies into that midfield defence. And we need that to make sure we get top 4. And I
Well,
think
who
we'll
your
have to
players, Rich?
overpay for it.
3. Name 3.
I
Name
thi-
the 3 that are coming in January.
I think we need something like Bruno, Kimmich and Ferguson, Bruno, Kimmich and Chris Wood, something like that.
Ooh, you
I
stop
think
with
that's
the
what we
Chris
need.
Wood thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Stop it.
I'll just say
I-
that we need to.
How can I deny Pat the chance to see Chris Wood score a hat-trick for City?
If Chris Wood came into City, I would go and
Bucket
support
list.
Chelsea.
Absolute bucket list.
Brilliant. Did you hear that? That would make it even better if we signed Chris
This has
Wood now.
become the
Martin
Chelsea
has to
way.
go
I've
to
just,
support
I've just,
Chelsea.
I just said last week. Last week I had the pleasure of being up in Tromsø, Norway, watching the Northern Lights. But that would not that would pale in comparison to me seeing Chris
Yeah.
Wood
I
with the
could
City
not.
shirt on.
I couldn't
Yeah,
do it.
I'd
couldn't
fly,
support
Pat,
it.
I'm flying
If
over with you.
Martin, if we sign Chris Wood, what would be your reaction? Your immediate reaction? Are you giving away your season ticket for the rest of the season, or
Yeah.
like what?
I've
Are we,
never
ticket.
had.
you still
I've
got
never had a
the matches,
shirt.
won't you? Yeah.
I've
Season
never had a
ticket.
shirt with a name.
No, nobody on here knows
Yeah,
about
same.
a season
Oh,
ticket.
no.
I've noticed. Anyway, thank you, Lee Gates, for your £5. Top show, Martin, legend pal.
Oh.
I did respond back to your message. You didn't upset me. No need to apologise. You are a legend, mate, and a big supporter. Thank you so much. Right, before we go, brand new competition. One ended tonight. You've got a brand new one. I wanted to get this up early because you've got a 12-hour special on. There you go. 31p are the tickets for this. Tickets to win 2 hospitality tickets for the Boxing Day Bonanza at the Etihad, City versus Everton, the Toffees, 23rd of December. This ends on Monday, the 23rd of December at 2024. So you've literally got 5 days. The live draw is on next Monday at 8:30. Tickets are going to be 39p a ticket, But right now, for the next 12 hours, I think there's about 9-10 hours left. It's 31p. You got more details, double chance to win as well. Thousands for 2 more, 39p a ticket. That is chump change. I know it's Christmas, but what a way of getting it on. 39p. That is absolutely a bargain, if I do say so myself. Footballprizes.co.uk. Also, just to let you know, we are very, very close to the big 5K. We are 261 away from 5K, and we will do a massive giveaway of 2 tickets to a game at the Etihad, plus a shirt to go with it. So you will get a shirt and 2 tickets of a game, subject to availability. You have to be able to get here. I'm not paying for the flight unless Rich wants to. If you're from abroad, we'll get you the tickets, but we're not paying for your flight or your hotel, just the ticket. Sort your flight and your hotel yourself. Jesus, we'll get to 10K and we might do that. But yeah, get over there. There is no show tomorrow night. I am on a Christmas thing at Dunham Massa. I'm going seeing the lights with my dad and my mum. So there'll be no show tomorrow. We're going to be back Friday night, where hopefully I can get Jessica at Sports Talk and a couple of other people on. There is a space tomorrow, me and Tone, at what time?
12:30.
I'm glad you remembered it. 12:30, where we'll go through some stuff tomorrow live on X. There's a Friday Waffle show on LB as well. Don't know what time that is. That's to be confirmed. There is a live watch along on Big Up on Saturday as well, which I did forget to tell everyone, but there is going to be a massive. Pardon?
You're a busy man.
Yeah, here it is. Big Up live on Saturday.
Oh,
Aston Villa versus Manchester City. Bearding Hall, 12 p.m. We'll be live on Big Up.
Oh.
So there you go. Loads coming on here on the Mancunian way. And then we'll be live on Boxing Day after the Everton game as well. There won't be anything on. Yeah, Boxing Day's Thursday, isn't it?
Damn.
I'm totally lost now.
Fast.
Because I'm literally booked in everything I can. There will be a spaces later as well, starting at 11 p.m. I think that's it. So all this is for me. Thank you to Tone, Kelster, Ozzy, Rich. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah,
But
thanks for having me.
so,
And make
long.
Thanks,
have
Ozzy.
some offer they can't
Ozzy,
refuse.
there'd been a better argument in a pub tonight.
Big Up is a brand new platform, but a bigger thank you goes to Pat for getting his big ass out of bed and off an airplane, because the guy's been ducking this channel more than a duck, you know.
You're welcome.
Duck's winter.
And Pat, Pat, are you good for organising flights for you and me, flying back with our new Chris Wood shirts for his debut in January?
Yeah, well,
And-
if
and
you've already
then
seen my avatar,
Martin,
Rich,
Martin, are
Rich,
you going to do?
Rich, you'll see my just look at my profile photo, and you already see my answer to that. There you go.
Excellent. And
what I'm going to do is, because
Martin,
people are asking,
Martin, as you're going to
put,
Chelsea, are you going to do a live Mancunian way of you swapping your City shirt for the Chelsea shirt?
what I
on
am
the
going
day
to
it
do
happens?
is, I'm going to put
I know-
the link. To
Rich,
Big
I
Up
know
in
Martin
the-
won't wear a Forest shirt, but I'll definitely get him a New Zealand Chris Wood shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The link to Big Up is in the chat. The link to Big Up is in the chat. Click on that, take you up, sign up, free of charge. Come and join us for a watch along. Yeah, but thank you all. This, I don't know if is LB even still live.
Yeah.
Is
And
LB
have a
even
look
live?
at Salem Saberhagen
Yes, he is
staring
still
at the
live.
whole audience now.
This will take you straight to its LB. So spam the chat with the Mancunian way. Big up the Mancunian way. We'll see you all on Friday night. Don't know what time. We'll be a bit later, but we will do the Villa talk, everything on Friday night. So take care, all you superstars. Take care.